Hey everybody, this is my solar-powered lantern. It's even got a USB charger port. This is my sustainable light source for videos on the fly like this. Basically, I just wanted to respond to a video that Thunderfoot made recently. It was about how politicians who deny climate science are dipshits. And the larger point that he made, I do not have any beef with. That's true. They are dipshits. But in order to make his argument, he showed a lot of footage of beetle kill pine in my neck of the woods. And you can especially see this between Aspen and Vail and Denver on that I-70 corridor, where it's kind of checkerboarded in. Like all the trees there are dead, every other one, basically. And it looks like a huge forest fire risk. Also, in his video, he said that the mountain pine beetle that's doing this is not an invasive species, and it's like just a natural result from global warming, climate change, and the 2 degrees warmer allows the beetles to have longer breeding time, longer eating time between winters, yada yada yada. Yes, that is one of the factors. But if you were to just watch his video, you wouldn't think of it as being an invasive species, because the mountain pine beetle was here in Colorado before all this happened, right? Before the warming. But it wasn't getting up into the higher elevations, which makes it act more like an invasive species, especially when there is variation between the different species of pine trees, but also within each species. Much like how black people don't get a sunburn as easily as I do, the white guy, right? There are pine trees that can resist the pine beetle a lot easier than the ones that are higher elevation. It's just, that's the way it is. Even within the same species, there are differences between the way the trees react and their health. Just the amount of moisture they have to draw on, because they're down in a rich, moist pasture instead of up on the mountain, right? Some of them are able to react with sap that will kill the beetles a lot easier than within the same species than the ones that are farther up the mountain. But the higher elevation pines that are really getting hit by this are the ones that traditionally didn't have to deal with the mountain pine beetle. We're talking your lodgepole pines, your ponderosa pines, your blue spruce. All those were up high enough that they didn't have to deal with that mountain pine beetle much at all in the past. And so that's how it's acting more like an invasive species. Also, when it gets to the highest elevations that pine trees grow, it's going to hit the bristlecone pines, which are fucking beautiful, right? And they're going to be a thing of the past because they have no defense against the mountain pine beetle. So it does act like an invasive species. Yes, climate change does have something to do with that, but also the tree's natural defenses being absent in the higher elevations also plays a factor. But also there's another man-made aspect to this, and that is that we don't allow forest fires to cleanse the mountain pine beetle anymore. We put those forest fires out. And if you look per hectare or per acre at how many mature trees there are in those forests, it's far higher than before we stopped all the forest fires from cleansing the mountain pine beetle. So it has plenty of adult trees to munch on, year after year. And that is another factor, and we don't allow these forest fires to barrel down the valleys anymore and set the mountain pine beetle back on its trek up the mountain. We have houses there, and we like how it looks when it's green, so we put the fucking fires out. And that is another factor that is lost when you look at Thunderfoot's video. Mind you, the overall point, I get it. Politicians who deny climate change are bad, but there are other factors in why we have such a horrible infestation and we have such beetle kill pine reserves now, and we're making furniture with like blue stains from the beetles infesting the wood, and it looks pretty, and it's a horrible story, and you know, yeah. Take care, everyone.